And that's basically everything and every fabric of your existence telling you what you need to be doing. And it's whether you're brave enough and have the courage enough to do what's right.
Hi, I'm Bernard.
And I'm Han. And so we're here today for a therapy session because we hear Herman's very good. And we were recommended by our friend Angelo.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we start?
I hear you have
a little sum
that may help me with my comfort. Mr. Cuddles, I believe is his name. Yeah.
So Mr. Cuddles is very special. You just have to promise to take good care of him.
Okay. All right.
So proceed.
We're ready? Okay.
What would you like to discuss?
So I recently, I think I want to talk about the topic of like running away, or the terms people use is like thinking the grass is greener on the other side. Okay, so I recently changed work environment, thinking that one place is better than the other.
Okay.
And when I got there, it is not. And it seems as if it's actually worse. So I'm more stressed out. The facility is older. The people are nicer, but as a whole, I'm more stressed. And I come home with more baggage. And my day is... Yeah. So Bernard was we were all excited at first. He's like, oh, wow, like she got her transferred and she got this new place that she was happy about. And when I got there, it's not what I anticipated or envisioned. So I think even the viewers, like, some of you can maybe relate, thinking that the grass may be greener on the other side. But when you're there, you're like, no, it's not. Now I'm stuck. What do I do?
So what's the difference between a blessing and a curse?
Perspective.
Oh, one's better than the other.
So a lot of people who are going through trials and tribulations will always look at it as a curse. Like, why me? Why can't I get this? Why? And they look at all the wrong scenarios of things that are not going their way. But the blessings is when you say, well, you know what? If I didn't go through this door would have never opened. I would have never met this person. This thing would have never happened. And so when you say perspective, what made you jump?
Because I want to shift where I'm at. Like, I feel that I want to take control.
Okay.
I feel that maybe this is a lesson that I need to learn, that I can't run away from. And I think it just sort of hit me recently that maybe I'm running away.
What are you running from?
From thinking that things will get easier, maybe working on myself, on growth, on being too comfortable, and that I need to put in the effort.
So when you say running, what would you say you've done your whole life?
Running.
Did it get you a lot of blessings?
I got some blessings.
Yeah. But what happened with them?
Certain blessings are there, but they kind of evolved, and there will always be challenges. And I think that I might have been too comfortable. And I think that I need to continue to put in the effort and to challenge myself and to be back into growing and to focus and to just face things that I need to face.
So when you think of ugly, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Ugly.
Come on.
Gosh. Just not things not going my way or things not being how I want them to be.
But for everybody also watching this, what happens when things don't go their way? When things don't go your way, things don't go other people's way. Why is that? Why is that?
Maybe I might have taken things for granted, or maybe I'm not, I don't know. What do you think? Well, you know me best.
Well, this is yours, but I have a different perspective on things.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
So when we talk about jumping and taking action, I also look at what type of jump and action you're taking. So when because again, I know you obviously, you jump from just a location to another location, but is it still the same thing?
J-O-B. Same type of J-O-B. And we had that discussion before.
We did.
That type of environment of that type of J-O-B,
Yeah.
not the greatest for growth.
No. And I think that it just became bigger baggage when I realized, more recently, like I realized that like I'm ready to kind of move on and to leave that. But it became heavier, and it was only last week that I dread going into work. And I don't think I've felt that way for a very long time. Like I haven't felt that way for years and years.
Okay.
So it was the very first time that I felt, wow, like I actually don't want to go into work. And I wasn't looking forward to that.
And that's when you have no more fulfillment. And as soon as you have no fulfillment, you have to do something else.
Yeah.
Because the longer you stay in that place that you are unfulfilled, that is a very dark place to be in. And you stay there for too long, you will get lost. You no longer know how to get back up. And most people will never want to get back up.
And I feel, and I feel like as if my mind is getting cloudier and cloudier. And it's a bigger struggle to find that clarity. Whereas before, where I felt fulfillment and that it was easier to switch like from one day to another or one moment to another. But now it's just getting heavier and heavier.
And that's basically everything and every fabric of your existence telling you what you need to be doing. And it's whether you're brave enough and have the courage enough to do what's right. Both for your health, both for your profession, both for your sanity, right? Because I'm sure relationship-wise, sanity-wise, it's going to create more tension.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to create more distance. I'm sure it's going to create a lot of more conflicted emotions inside that you feel one way one minute, next minute you feel a completely different way and you don't know who you are anymore. And that's when you know you're unfulfilled. And for a lot of people, it's okay that they need their JOB. It's okay that they want to provide for their family. That's okay. But it's the unfulfillment. If you just go for the check, if you just go in because that's what other people are doing and that's what you see they do, so you think you need to do that, that unfulfillment, that is where a lot of people die young and they never really lived.
Don't most people go through that in terms of, because when you go to school, they pretty much prime you just to go get a job.
Exactly.
They're not asking you if you're going to be fulfilled in it or not.
No.
So you just go through the
It's like
motions.
a factory, right?
Yeah.
And you get too old, replace you. Get too old, replace you, right? And so that's why we have to be innovators. Do you know what I mean? You have to go and create things where we have access to so many things now in today's world. It's never been easier to create, share, market. But why do people still stay stuck?
Comfort.
Comfort.
They think that that's all that they need is just the comfort. And what did we discuss on Sunday about where my comfort level is?
You're never comfortable.
You have to get comfortable with only the uncomfortable. Do you understand? Because that is where you're going to grow. That's where you're going to make a change. That's where you're going to help others make that change, to do better and greater things. But if, let's say we were parents and we had a child and we were just comfortable, so the child got comfortable really quick, got comfortable to all the privileges that are afforded in today's world, how would it ever want to grow? How would it want to learn a new language or learn a new skill or learn something completely different or go see a different part of the world to see how other people have it not as comfortable?
You're not.
You're not going to grow that way. And then when they grow up and this is sealed, closed, what's going to happen?
They're in trouble.
They're going to be unfulfilled. And the most important thing is to find that fulfillment, and then you share that fulfillment with others so that you can help them with theirs. But if we're staying stuck and we know that we're in an area that's making us upset, put in a greater rift between you, maybe more arguments, maybe more distance, maybe less sanity, all of those things, that's not maybe the greatest formula for fulfillment. And maybe we have to switch a few things so that you can get back into that fulfillment of, okay, I'm comfortable now, let's be more uncomfortable. Let's go and dive in. Let's jump off and let's see what we can create and let's see what we can innovate and do. Because you have more than created before with a camp, with planning, events. You can create all those other things. But then you get comfortable again and you go through the same motion and the motion and you have to become fulfilled. And right now you're not.
No. And when I'm in that creative space, like I feel like it's easier for me and I feel happier. But now when I'm in my job and it just gets heavier and heavier every single day. And I just haven't felt in a long time that I didn't want to actually be in a workplace, that I actually felt like a sense of anxiety trying to, when that Monday came.
And I understand that. Yeah. And for the both of you and for other couples and people watching this in relationships, as soon as you see a partner that's unfulfilled, and let's say your voice doesn't carry the same weight, or your voice and views and perspective doesn't carry the same weight, or let's say that they drowned out the sound of whatever comes from us, then we have to find a third party that can help share and direct so that we can go back on course.
You're like the whisperer.
Right? But does that make sense?
Yes.
Because a lot of couples have drowned out the other partner's voice, or it doesn't carry the same weight. Yeah. So then even though the perspective is accurate, even though all the views are correct, even though it's efficient, even though everything is lined up and perfect, but if the person doesn't want to hear it from you, it wouldn't mean anything. Yeah. But another person that they respect could share the exact same thing, and they only share maybe 10%, 5% of what you shared. Instantly they start applying right away because it just meant that much more, because they weren't drowning out the sound. The connection was stronger. And so for one of the things that you have to do is, if you want to find that fulfillment, maybe open these a little more, and you'll do the same, so that both of you can figure out, what are your roadblocks? What am I doing that I'm not listening to, that's right in my face? What am I doing that I could be doing more of? What am I not doing enough of? Right? And that's why we have to listen that much more to the body, to everything around us that are giving us the signs. And if you have that anxiety and no fulfillment, I mean, that's basically a sign slapping you in the face saying, you got to jump. Right?
Yeah.
And so for a lot of people, they may be in your situation, but they don't do anything about it because they've overspent, over-leveraged. And then all of a sudden they have all these responsibilities that are dependent on the overspending and the over-leveraging. And then we call that debt.
Yeah. Well, I know, you know, Bernard feels it. Like he knows when I'm stressed out.
Of course.
But there, you know, there's a bit more tension recently because of how I'm feeling and what I'm going through. And I do tell him at times, you know, like his perspective. And not that I don't agree with you, I do agree with what you're saying, but I don't agree with delivery sometimes. So when
Guilty,
you
right?
say,
Yeah, I'm not doubting it.
you know, you need a third party,
Yeah.
such as yourself, I agree. I really agree. And I think we work on delivery, but there are times when
You fall back into how you used to say things.
It's from my perspective, it's because when she comes home all stressed out, feeling anxiety and everything else, I'm getting triggered.
Yeah.
So when I'm delivering, I'm doing my best to deliver, but from a
You're
different
already
state.
triggered.
It's already triggered. So
Yeah.
it's you gotta master that delivery. So it's probably easier just to get you or someone just to deliver the message.
Yeah. Because it's a lot of people don't realize when they're going through that state that you just described and they go through those triggers, they don't realize that it cuts down what we call relationship equity. So when you first got together, equity is through the roof. You think they're the most valuable person in the world and you'll do anything and everything for them, right? But what happens when habits set in, stress sets in, life gets in the way, right? Things don't go our way, things we don't understand, things that we allow to consume ourselves, things that we've blocked ourselves from, things where we haven't grown. And we're just cutting all of that equity out. That's why the voice doesn't matter. And we have to rebuild that now with each other so that when you say something and she says something, it matters more. Because until you get back there, it'll be very difficult to grow together.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes. And so when he's stressed, right? So you know how he wakes up early, he cooks me the meal because he wants, you know, me to pack a fresh, healthy lunch, right? But I can't say, you know, without him being offended that like, hey, I think, you know, your effort is going to waste because now you're putting in this stressful energy, this not so happy energy into my meals when you're prepping it in the morning, right? So you're kind of erasing the effort. And do you not get offended by that? I think so.
No.
No.
Yeah. So even I feel like, you know, I'm trying to say, hey, let's, you know, let me help you in the morning so that way it isn't as stressful for you. But then he's already feeling on the edge from what I'm going through. So it is a whole circle. Like I would affect him and he would affect me. Yeah.
And you have to stop it. Otherwise, it's just going to keep repeating and repeating. And that's why most couples never survive, because they haven't stopped that. And the equity is gone. Nothing left. Very difficult to build after that.
Yeah. And I'm just, you know, I'm happy and grateful that we're both open enough to talk about it, right? So we can fix it and continue to grow because, you know, it's not like you fix it once and it stays that way.
You don't only shower once, or you don't only brush your teeth once.
No?
God, no.
But why is it that people feel that they can only learn something once?
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, like we did really well, you know, and then so we kind of, you know, so we have to continue to put in the effort and continue to work on it.
Build that equity back to what it was, right? Because until that goes up, it'll be very difficult if you're at the bottom and you're looking for scraps.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, he gave me a compliment today. Oh, it was 30 days since last one. Right? And that's how it's going to go, where it's like nitpicking, right? And you can't get into that. We have to be where you naturally just give the compliment because it just rolls off your tongue because you want to give it, because it was the right thing to do, right? And then vice versa. But a lot of people expect things without giving anything first. And in order for this to work and get better, we have to give the effort first so that we can then see the returns and the harvest after. Make sense?
Yes.
So what are you going to do?
Build equity. We're going to be millionaires in equity.
At least.
At least. Multi-millionaires.
Millionaire doesn't really get you anything anymore.
Not anymore. Not in Toronto.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what can you share with the viewers so maybe they can learn something from your situation so that they can not have to repeat the same mistakes?
Yeah. Well, from my experience is just get a third party. I would say get a third party because I know with our personality, right? I can admit that I can be a little sensitive, and I'm working on that. And I like things to be delivered a certain way, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what about yourself?
For me, it's, again, getting a third party, but to recognize when I'm in that mood or that state, and getting help before it gets worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like if you have a hole in the ceiling, you're not going to wait months.
No.
Rain, snow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would definitely say that as a couple, you're always learning and growing together, and you will come across, road bumps, and knowing when to reach out. So I think our last call with you or last chat with you was over 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, right?
Wow.
So it's been a while. And we were doing really well when we had our weekly calls, and we were, more connected with you. But we just became really busy with other things. So then the talks with you became further and less in between. And that was when I realized that we need to have that third party until our equity is built to a level where we have a strong foundation.
It's like a battery.
Yeah.
It's just depleting.
Mm-hmm.
So we need a recharge.
Yeah, we do need a recharge.
Mm-hmm. And one thing before we go is if you want that battery to recharge, what do you do?
Besides calling you?
Besides that?
Take care of ourselves.
That's when you have to make sure that you know what peace is. You see everything else that's interfering with your peace. And you say to yourself, anything at the cost of my peace is too expensive. And then you start eliminating every one of those other things. So that when we do get on a call, you're going to be able to receive it because there's no interference in the signal. But if you come on the call and you bring your baggage and you bring this, you bring that, and you want to bring everything with you, you're only going to absorb maybe 5% or less. And then you're not going to receive the signal and you're not going to apply as fast. You're not going to get the results. Because peace is where all the results are had. But if you are at so much influx internally, mentally, physically, spiritually, anything we discuss will be very, very little that you absorbed or retained, and then the results will be the same.
Thank you.
Do you understand?
Got it.
Well, thank you to everyone listening.
Thank you.
Remember, what do we got to do?
To click and subscribe and like.
We got to like and subscribe down here.
All right, Mr. Cuddles.
And Mr. Cuddles says wolf. It means bye.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for watching.